All right, welcome to Champ Talk with Branden Hudson. Of course, I am your host, Branden Hudson, and I always have the pleasure of being with the
Chet, just Chet still. Chet, eternally Chet.
Chat. Remember the old episodes where we would entertain our entertain our listeners by having some sort of like funny name for you?
I do.
I've given you three episodes.
Barely remember that.
I've given you 3 episodes to dial that in. So,
all right,
just
I
know.
got to come up with
No,
something.
no, no. You don't have to come up with it. I didn't want to take. I didn't want to do it myself.
You want to take the glory away from?
Well,
okay.
remember I used to take that. Those
Yeah.
names were kind of like
Yeah.
egregious. Egregious. This episode of Champ Talk is brought to you by Pohanka of Salisbury. Big shout out to Pohanka, man. Pohanka's been SBY MMA and Fitness's probably longest running sponsor that we've had. Sandy, man, I love her to death. For those who don't know, Sandy Angelo, she is probably the most powerful woman in the area, if not business person in the area. She's has so many things that she's done for the community. Very huge philanthropist. She's actually, I helped write the curriculum over there at SU for the business class. She's helped so many people, and she's just been a big supporter of me personally, my company, my brand, and just has helped so many people along the line. And obviously, she's a GOAT when it comes to the car industry and what she's done. So
if you need a new car, used car, or truck,
go holler at them.
anything with 4 wheels on it, yeah.
Yep. Mention SBY. Mention this Champ Talk episode, and you will get a discount over there, probably. How you doing, man? What's going on?
Good. What's going on?
Yeah. You had a rough week last week. I got in your ass many times, many ways last week. How'd that go?
Yeah, I'm healing up fine. Still a little sore today.
Yeah.
No.
Literally,
Yeah.
like you were.
No, I'm literally sore from training and exercising, and getting back on track. And the boot you put in my ass is almost gone. It's practically removed at this point.
Well, except for the meeting we had just before then.
Yeah.
Just now, but
it's all fun and games.
yeah. Well, I brought that up because we had talking about like mentorship and things like that, and what, it's such a benefit to have and so painful to experience at times. You know what I mean? To have somebody mentoring you and somebody, grabbing you up and by the bootstraps and, putting the shit kickers on and kicking you up in the, what, but it's such a necessary evil, especially when you're talking about trying to perform at the highest level, trying to do things, be successful, trying to, accomplish your goals or so forth. And
It's not so bad when it's out of love.
well, how many people don't take it out of love?
I mean,
Figuratively speaking, like, think about that. Like, how many of us say, yes, I really want accountability. I really want somebody to stay on top of me. I really want you to tell me when to move and where to do. And
but do you?
But do you? Yeah. Or it's all good when I'm telling you when you want it, but then when you don't necessarily want it or need it and you expect me to still hold you to that standard, then all of a sudden it gets kind of uncomfortable and personal, right? Now all of a sudden I'm attacking you and, I don't care and this, that, and third. It's like, hey, gal, you asked for this. You wanted this.
Don't you remember? This is exactly what you asked for.
Yeah, a lot of people know my best friend Owen, man, is back into the picture. Owen had kind of a lengthy stay, so to speak, away from us, and his stay was, for 2 decades. It was quite a long time. He made a huge mistake one night, and that's his story to tell. We're not going to get into that, but I have been blessed and had the opportunity to be able to provide for my boy a job, a career, and, you know what I mean, a vessel, so to speak, or a place where he can, kind of really adapt back to the world and do it in a way, in a manner of not somebody just, drilling the fuck out of him and squeezing the piss out of him and showing him what he's got to learn and all that dumb shit that so many fucking business owners, so many people do. Anywho, this is about branding. It's about mentorship, and I've had to have a couple tough conversations with him. And, because, again, last time this guy was around, he didn't even know you could take a picture on a camera, on a cell phone, excuse me. And Yeah, we had a really tough conversation not too long ago, and there was high stakes involved. There was, emotions involved. There were situations and things that, things were said that didn't feel very comfortable, and I ran the risk of losing my best friend. You know what I mean? Because you know how people are. You tell them how to do things. Next thing you know, they pack up and roll out. You tell them what standard you need to meet, they get out of there. So we had a conversation, and it was tough. But coming after the aftermath of that, it was something he really needed, and he told me he needed, and he still doesn't agree with certain ways that I went about it, and I'm sure there are ways that I could have handled it better.
I know I'm sure he needed a little that grace period to kind of catch up to the world, so to speak,
Sure.
in a lot of ways. But yeah, after that point, then got to get down to business.
Yeah.
Sometime. So
yeah. So my point, I'm bringing that up is like you. For me, and I explained to him afterwards, and we let the emotions settle down, and it's like there's not a lot of people out there that care enough to tell you straightforward, straight up, right? There's not a lot of people that will sit here and big homie you, big brother you, where you're like, hey, yo, you're not going to do it like this. This is the way you have. This is the way things go down. See, a lot of people, and I've done this myself. When you got somebody fucking up, I'll just leave you alone. I'll just stop messing with you. Go ahead. You know what I mean? Okay. You on that bullshit today? Go ahead. Do you? Yep. Okay. Cool. That's what you're doing. Cool. All right. And and people distance themselves. Mentors, so to speak, will distance themselves because it's messy. It's ugly. It's yucky. You don't want to deal with that. And so I had to explain to him, like, not everybody understands that, like, you literally have somebody there coming from a place of love that is confident and takes the risk of jeopardizing your feelings in that relationship by telling you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, and by checking you on your shit and by holding you accountable to the things you say. And I said, Owen, look, man, I said, I love you, man, but at the end of the day, bro, like, this is business. It's not personal. And I don't think you realize, but, I'm not telling you to do this, that, and the third for my personal gain. I'm going to survive regardless, right? Like, we're going to get it regardless, whether it's you or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, we have to get the job roles need to be filled, the job descriptions need to be met, and the standard needs to be met. So regardless, I love you to death. I want you to be that person, but that's not necessarily what's needed. Like, you could be replaced. Where this is coming from a place of love, where I want to see you not only succeed here, I want to see you take this and make something for yourself of it. You know what I mean? Do whatever it is that you're going to have come out. And people don't realize that, man. People don't recognize that fact.
Yeah, and the other crazy part with all of it too, and like, we say about so many things, there's layers to this. And really, if you look at, if you're talking about mentors, coaches, instructors, teachers, and there's differences with all of those by definition.
Sure.
And then also in practice. But for all of those people too, it's like you're never, I don't think, probably going to get the ideal client or student or whatever, however you want to phrase it, however you want to describe that. But then when you put it, a personal relationship in there as well, then that can get kind of sticky and odd at times.
Well, that brings me, 100%. It brings me to you. Like, dude, we've been doing Champ Talk for quite some time. We've got like 3 years in of Champ Talk. Actually, we've been working together and training together for 10. You know what I mean? Like, we've got some time in, and I've always said this, and I will always stick to this. I don't need any new friends. like
I don't use the ones I have now. I don't need any new friends.
You know what I mean? All I want is a bunch of gimps in the box. You know what I mean? Motherfuckers, I'll just run the camera, but and just not say anything, right? Right, Gimp? You won't even fucking speak. I love it. Keep that ball in your mouth. No, sorry. Dude, we had so much fun with that last week. No, I don't need any new friends, and I don't mean that I don't want any new friends. I do want friends. I love people. That's my love language is people, if that was a love language. What I'm saying is this is friendship takes time, right? Friendship takes time to build. And this is probably going to be a little premature, but it's going to segue into what else I wanted to talk about on top of mentorship. But you don't, just because I fucking party with you or go to school with you or work with you, or just because we've had some good moments and good times, that don't mean we're best friends. That don't mean we're working on a friendship. Mm-hmm. We're building a friendship, right? But just because, we're having a bunch of good times and we connect here, like how many people have you been great friends with in the past that once they get a couple drinks in out in public, you hate their fucking guts, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They say two
And
things.
I'm sure I've been that friend in the past too.
Well, I wouldn't say that now. I don't know about that. Like, you know what I'm talking about. The guys.
No, I do. I knew what you're saying,
Fucking
but I
go
think
from Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde. Not like Eric when he drinks.
no.
Coach Eric, it's a segue. Coach Eric, when he drinks, right? This is Eric Evans, okay? Let me tell you his business out here, and he'll probably hate me for this. Eric Evans is probably one of the most violent psychopaths I know. He's been my head coach, and I'll tell everybody this, and I go on record. He's the reason SBY is here. When I was locked up, I didn't want any visitors. He used to be a CO. He found a way to get in there and go visit me, make me put him on my list, right? Like he got a message to me from other COs who didn't even know me. Been a great supporter, but a great teacher. He's been with me for 15 years, dude. I love this guy to death. But he is one of the most violent, high blood pressure psychopaths I've ever met in my life, right? People don't see that side of him. When this guy gets drunk and starts drinking, that shit is out the window. He is Comedy Central, bro. Like, he will have us in stitches, dude. I remember the one time we were at this bar here locally, right? And I got to tell the story.
But I gotta say first.
Go ahead.
It's been almost 3 years since I've had anything to drink, and it's health reasons. Not like I had to quit because it was a problem for me. It was for health reasons, and and I miss it from times, but if you said, hey, do you want to, we're going to go here. And, okay, well, it's a bar. Everyone's drinking. I think I'll probably just wait. But if you said, if you're coming out, like it's me and Eric are going to go to this place, and I know Eric's drinking Crown and Cokes, I'm fucking in.
My gosh.
I am in. I'll sit there. I'll sit there and drink ginger ale all night just to just to watch him.
Dude, he is hilarious, and I mean the nicest guy, and he don't go out at all.
No.
So this is like we do this every weekend stuff. Like he doesn't go out at all, but when he does, or when the stars align, and let me tell you something. So we're talking to this and this is gonna get a little spicy, so people probably get mad, but I'm gonna share it. And I'll probably ruin it for the magic of the moment, right? But our Gip in the Box would definitely appreciate this. So
here's one of those left turns.
We're out at this bar talking, right? And at this point, we're about 3 or 4 drinks in, right? Excuse me. And we're just having a good time, and we're shooting the shit, and lots of jokes, lots of things are happening. And Chet and I are actually sitting. If I could paint a picture for you, we're sitting in this space right here, like almost exactly how this.
Like
we're at
this.
a table and we're talking and stuff. And Eric is like to our vision, to our left or your right, and like to our vision. And he's talking to some people that he knows from the band and stuff like that. And there was this guy that is, I think he's a swinger. The rumor is he's a swinger, whatever. You know what I mean? And no worries. Hats off to you. Be that, right? And whatever you're into, we're not biased. But Eric's old school, and Eric's a comedian, right? And I love comedy. And let me put this phrase: I think we should all be able to make fun of ourselves, and I think nothing should be off limits as long as it's not degrading, downgrading, and hate. Right? We should all have fun, loosen up, and everything. So I just want to preface that and put my little asterisk on it before Champ Talk gets canceled. You know what I mean? Anyway, Eric is fucking running his fucking mouth, right? And the dude comes up and he's talking, and the guy with the rumor, right? He comes up, he's talking, right? And Eric's hearing us, and the guy's like kind of to the right behind Eric, and the people he's talking to is in front of him. And Chet and I are just sitting there, kind of like flies on the wall, minding our business, having a good time. And I don't know what he's thinking, but Eric's talking to this guy, and the guy's got the guy puts his hands back to tell Eric something, and Eric's talking to the lady, laughing, go lucky, how you? And he looks right at us while he's talking. He's got his hand on my back. You see that? He's got his hand on my back. And we're like,
he's not missing a beat.
And it was so funny. Yeah, he doesn't miss a beat. He says it out loud. The guy doesn't know, and nobody knows what's going on but me and Chet and Eric. And he just doesn't miss a beat with the conversations he's having with the person. Doesn't miss a beat with the person that was talking to him. He thought was swinging and us. That is like one simple moment that this guy has.
Oh, that whole night.
Thousands of moments. Yes, that's like thousands of moments throughout one night or one interaction, dude.
And it's not like he's trying either. It's just that switch flips.
Absolutely. But shout out to Coach Eric, man. He started Champ Talk with us, but where I was going with all that, why, that's a complete digression of the conversation. What I was saying is that, you know what I mean, just because we go out and have a good time, or just because we work together, or just because whatever the case may be, doesn't mean that we're going to be best friends. It means that we're building a friendship. But dude, I don't fucking need no new friends, right? I have my best friends, the guys and the gals that I call my inner circle, the people that if I said, hey, don't ask no questions, we got something to do, it's going to be a lot. They're going to be like, what time am I going to be there? They're going to ask any questions they're in. Those guys and gals have 10, 20, 30, maybe even 35 years, 40 years of friendship with me, right? Relationship with me, right? And I say all that because you and I have been in this game and been making a friendship for about 10 years. And even though we've been friends and we've done Champ Talk, and you work with us and work with both the companies I work with, and all these things, it can be hard to have some of these conversations with you.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't want, you're thinking in your mind, I don't want to be a dick to my friend. And I also want to be empathetic, but at the same time, this is where we got to get better. But that's what real friendship and that's what real mentorship does. And that's what I explained to Owen is like, dude, like, I care. Like, I want to see you win here. It's not that I need ulterior motives. The job needs to be done. And we made a business agreement to shake hands. I was going to pay you for a job. But just as much, I'm not going to sit here and push you on the back burner or say, figure it out, or not hold you accountable, build resentment, and all the other bad things that I've done, many mistakes before. I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to have that tough conversation. I'm going to say it the way it needs to be said, and we're going to fucking get this shit done, and we're going to figure it out. You know what I mean?
And there's little parts of it that help you grow too, that you don't even, it's not so much upfront, or even like a mentoring or coaching, teaching kind of thing, but it's, when you say something to somebody like that, you're at times like, okay, this is totally business. Like, I feel this way, but I got to check my emotions, because emotions got nothing to fucking do with this right now.
Great point.
Because this is numbers, this is black and white, this is ABCs. And even though I feel like that, it's like, okay, well, I gotta just check that, put that on the back burner, because you're being human, but this is the task at hand. And that has not, it's not personal.
No.
And those things come into play. So it is a growing experience as well, a learning experience where you go through those kind of things, and it's like, oh, okay. Again, and it goes back to mindset,
and it's painful. Like, even and that's a great, I mean, dude, that's a fucking phenomenal point that you just said, because, and I know Owen's not here. Again, him and I are going to get on a podcast together soon, but I want to talk about that. Like, that's a great example of, like, it's not personal, and think about him. And this, I lost my train of thought for a second. That I want to give flowers to him and props to him, because, dude, like, fucking coming from the world he came from, everything's personal. Your fucking towel is, you don't disrespect my towel, dog. You know what I mean? Like, you don't disrespect this space that I'm living in that is not mine, that I'm forced to live here. This is mine. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, for him to be able to take that feedback, not like it, be mad at me for a weekend, be cool, but still take it, move it, and run with it, speaks volumes to the point that you just said in his character. Like, it's not personal. This isn't about me. This is about growing and being better.
And it's personal on a level because you care, but it's not personal with what you're actually talking about and what that task is. And we've had this conversation. You say, you've looked at me, it's like, you got to take that emotion out of it. Like, you care too much about this or whatever, like, just deal with this part of it. Okay, that makes it easier in a sense, and makes more sense. So.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I mean, you want to talk about my mentors, you know what I mean? My best friend's my mentor, Nick Tagapor, who owns Pure Fitness. And I mean, dude, like, me being here, leasing that space from him that's never been an advantage. Like, I've never gotten anything given to me here with working or leasing space under my best friend. And the reason being is that I'm a competing gym. Technically speaking, I'm a gym that would compete with his people.
Right.
So, granted, I got a great personality. We've been friends for 20 some years. We're this, that, and the third. Well, now we're talking business, and people like, Nick and Branden Hudson, both those guys have had some really harsh conversations with me, where they've gotten in my ass and told me what it is that I should be doing and how to do it better. And none of that felt good. Especially being that a subcontractor over there, and I'm a business owner, right? So like I could take that as like, dude, I'm fucking running my own business. What do you know? Don't tell me what to. No. I had really, it's like, dude, these guys care about me enough to tell me how it is and tell me what to do the way that I need, not wait around and see if I'm gonna fuck up or, set me up for failure. And with Nick, you know what I mean? It's like it took me, I would say, a good 4 or 5 years before Nick really kind of started pulling back the curtain a little bit and giving me some insight, some secrets. He gave me tips along the way. He's wanting me to win. Him and Tony Tagliapore, shout out to both of them, have wanted me to win from day one. They're not going to align with you if they want you to lose. But the same principle is like with the lines being so blurred, and it could be, I'm a competing gym, but I'm a partnership. We had to walk a fine line to make sure that this was a real establishment, a real partnership. And even still, now that I've gotten 6 years in with the brand and 6 years here, doing our thing, I still respect that boundary. I still understand that, hey, look, there's things that I can do and I cannot do, and you just give me those lines and parameters, and I'll maximize that for my advantage. But at the same time, that's my best friend.
And that's one of the tough things about quote mentorship, because somebody who's your mentor, that is, you can have a mentor who is somebody that you're paying as a mentor, somebody who's a professional.
Sure.
What they do, that you're trying to better yourself, and I'm hiring this person to mentor me in these things. But then there's the mentors that are your dad, your uncle, your best friends. So it can be kind of tough in that sense too, where where are those lines, and then everybody being respectful of that, because you can be a horrible student for that mentor as well. So it can make it kind of tough.
And there's so many cases of it,
But you also don't know, and there's also the mentorship where and this came up last night. I was talking to our buddy Ryan Bosman, and he's going through some work stuff and moving from, after 3 years in Mississippi, moving to Florida now, and just a whole new circle of people that he's dealing with professionally and personally. But one of the guys, and he mentioned this last night, just made me think of it. He said sometimes you get things from people you don't realize they're mentoring you, that you don't realize they're trying to teach you something, because they're giving you information, and you realize they're trying to set you up for a certain amount of success or something very specific. And it took him a minute, and I was like, yeah, if you listen, the answers are in there, kind of. And that's exactly what's happening. This guy's seasoned, he's been in the company, and he's asking him, how about this person? Do you know what this person's? And he's like, it hit him. Like, he realized, like, this guy is trying to help him out in not so many words, and not making it a big deal, not being like, hey, I'm taking you under my wing, I'm doing this. He's just kind of working it into what they're doing, but it hit him. He's like, man, he's really helping me out.
Well, a lot of those cases like that, because those mentors are so far advanced than the mentees, and their vision is so much further, wider, and deeper, that they do that to test you. They do that to respond to you, to see if you're even worth their fucking time. You know what I mean? And that's a big case of, like, sometimes you don't even know that you're being mentored, and a lot of that has happened to me. Like, I didn't even realize these guys were mentoring me, because I'm such a strong, personality that's like in your face, and you know what I mean? It's like I'm guilty as anybody. I think I know everything at times, you know what I mean? And so I would assume that if I had me as somebody that I had to mentor or deal with, I would assume that I would have to handle it with gloves and have a delicate approach, because of the kind of personality traits that I possess and the kind of human that I am. Like, all right, we're not going to go right at this guy's throat or this guy's neck. We're going to do it like this and do it like that. And but that's a great point. Sometimes you just don't even know that you're being mentored. One thing that's interesting to me when you talk about friendship and mentorship and coaching and all these things, and this is something that I never talk about. Like, if you read my posts, if you follow my content, if you hear me talk about any of this, I never fucking talk about loyalty. Never. And the reason being that I don't talk about loyalty is because I don't think you can teach it. I don't think that's something you teach. I don't think that's something, you either fucking understand loyalty or you don't.
Yeah.
And what I think is so funny about the word loyalty is there's so many layers and levels to that subject, right?
Well, I mean, I think I know it means different things to different people, and that's life experience, like that, really. And, and I don't think you. I think I'm loyal to a fault, like many faults, many like, yeah, I think it's something that's you have it or you don't. But I understand it too as a defense mechanism for some people. They've been burnt too many times. They had people they couldn't trust. They grew up in any number of situations. Like why I'm not going to be loyal. I'm loyal to me, and that's it.
Yeah, well, I think that's another part of the conversation of their layers. There's a lot of people that say these motherfuckers weren't loyal or this person wasn't loyal, but if you look at that person's moves, sometimes they have no introspection at all. They have no insight to what they expect out of loyalty, right? So they think, and this happens a lot of times, people think blind following should be loyalty, and that's not the fucking case.
No.
You know what I mean? So some of those guys that say those people weren't loyal to me, you never hear them get vulnerable about the mistakes that they made. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And how is it that this person and that person and that person and that person wasn't loyal to you through the course of your business? Don't you think maybe there's a common denominator there? Don't you think maybe, because
they didn't blindly follow you, correct. They were not loyal.
Correct. For me, when we talk about loyalty, and I know why you're loyal to a fault, because you've been through some fucking life-altering shits in your life, leading all the way back to when you were a child.
Who hasn't?
Yeah, there are a lot of people. There's no. That's the point I'm trying to make. We all have our shit, and then there's those that have their shit. And I want to preface this conversation first with, just because you didn't grow up with major adversity, and just because you didn't grow up, fighting, poverty or fighting abuse or fighting an addiction, doesn't mean that you don't have a great story to tell and you can't be successful and you can't be a leader. A lot of what gets sold in this personal development space all the time is, and I got the prime story for it, the prime example. I was a drug dealer. We grew up, lower to middle class. We did this, I had that, and I was involved in this, and it's this overcome story, right? This Rocky story, right? And people think that's watered down, dude, because everybody wants to be a fucking drug dealer nowadays, and everybody wants to have this overcoming story, right? Like, be original. But then what happens is that can kind of hinder the people that did not have that kind of upbringing, that grew up with a good upbringing, grew up, relatively well off. Their families made good financial decisions or had money, or had success. They went to a good school. They did the right thing. They didn't have any of this drama because they just did the right thing. They still have an opportunity to speak and lead and be in front of people. That you don't have to be an underdog for you to have a great
and that's
story.
What I mean. That's what I mean. Who doesn't? Like, everybody has something. Whether you consider it small or big on the scale of things, whatever your perspective is on it, everybody has their own shit.
Correct. But I think to lead to that point, when you've been through some shit. When you've been through that underdog story, when you've had to go through some turmoil and some shit, you understand really quickly who was in your corner.
Oh, yeah.
And whose corner you need to be in. You understand really quickly who put you on and who you need to, no matter what, always pay homage to. See, a lot of these people that want to be something or strive for something, they've never been through that. So they say I'm loyal, and they say that we require loyalty, but they don't understand what loyalty means. They don't understand, like, loyalty means is that you're going to stand beside me when I hold you accountable and when I hold you to a standard. You're going to stand beside me in the muck when I fuck up and make a public mistake or make a mistake that you don't agree with. Now, let's get honest. We ain't talking about no weird shit, right? There's some things that you can do that are, unforgivable, but I'm not talking to the fucking unforgivable weird shit people. I'm talking to the people that are going through businesses, going through life, going through the battles, going through the struggles, overcoming adversity. I'm talking to you. You don't know what loyalty is until you stand by somebody that made a mistake and you say, I don't give a fuck. He's wrong. And I told him he was wrong, but that's my dude. See, we don't have that nowadays. And everybody throws these words around like, I'm loyal and I got your back and I'm here to the end. And you just wait till this happens. You wait till that happens. And the minute you hold them to a standard, all of a sudden, poof, vamoose. Vamoose, like some of my friends.
I had a quick story is like, and this goes way back. This me and my buddy Fallon hanging out in DC, and he got loaded and he was getting ready to go into the Navy. And we just come from a show at the old Dirty 30.
Ooh.
Old 930 Club.
Oh, 930. Okay.
Yeah, old 930 Club. So, and we go to this place we would always go in and get a bag of burgers, and that was, soak up that alcohol and then make the ride home.
Yeah.
Well, he went in there and there was a bunch of Navy guys that were in there, and he started. I was like, dude, I love you, but I said if somebody jumps him, I got your back. I said, but you're going in there being an ass. I'm going to tell you one more time. I was like, you keep starting. I'm leaving. I will fucking leave you here.
Yeah.
I left his ass in D.C. It was snowing. He had to walk across D.C., find a payphone, call his grandparents in Hagerstown. And you know who was mad at me for leaving him there? Because I told him, I was like, dude, we're not doing this. I said, trying to help you out here. Didn't want to listen to it. Everybody else was mad except for him.
Yeah.
He's like, you taught me something that night. So it's probably something that learned and how he learned that night and helped him out later on down the line. But it was, and we laughed about it later, but it was like, dude, you're getting ready to get
so
us
give
both.
me clarity on that. So he was mad at you, but he ended up getting over it and realized it was a lesson.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it was a lot because I was like, you're getting ready to get both of us killed for no reason.
Yeah.
And I told you, I was like, I'm out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Same time I was like, if you didn't think I was serious then, but, do anything for each other.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and again, dude, and
it's a funny story now.
It is. Well, and it was tough. It was a tough road then, for both of you, but it was the necessary evil. And, a lot of people look at me and look at the gym and look at the real estate office and look at all the things that I'm doing, the shows and all the speaking engagements and all the things that I do, right? The podcast, all of that. And they're looking at this finished fucking product, dude. And I'm like, dude, do you understand the depths of hell that I've had to climb and still climb every single day just to get to a point of being able to put food on the table? Like, let's not get this fucked up. I love helping people, right? Absolutely. That's my why in life. That's my purpose. But the first person I'm going to help is me, 100% of the time. If I'm not in a space where I can be my 100%, I can't give my 100%.
Can't help anybody
Correct.
else.
The second groups of people that I'm going to help, and right now, over everybody is going to be my wife and my son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Trinity for the remainder of the year, but even though she's 18 and she's a senior, I'm still giving her and pushing her to be independent and figure it out. Does not mean I don't have her back or my oldest daughters, Tiaj and Taylor, or my grandbabies. But you start in the circle, in the nucleus, and work your way out, because those are the people that I'm directly responsible for. Those are the people that I'm directly in cahoots with, so to speak, that I got to make sure is okay. So I love helping them. But, dude, I'm going to always set up my future, and I'm going to always put food on the table for my family, and I'm always going to choose them first over everybody. And then as we go, you've seen the circles and the circles and the circles and the circles of who's in the inner circle, who's in the outer inner circle, and so on and so forth. Then we work our way out. But I'm always going to love people, hook up people, give people. I'm always going to be a giver. That's my nature. That's who I am. I sleep really well at night for the few hours I sleep. At the end of the day, I don't expect blind loyalty. I don't expect people to follow me because it sounds good. I don't expect people to follow me because I can speak well or teach you martial arts or I could get them, make you money. No. Follow me by my actions. Follow me by my character. Follow me by the time that we put in. Be loyal to me by how I'm loyal to you. And see, I've been dealt with so many people that once they're done with me, they're done with me. Once they've utilized all the resources of being with, in the sphere of Branden Hudson, you know what I mean, or his brand or his businesses, they're done and they walk away. And then it's somehow my fault on why they're not successful.
Right.
And it's funny because I look at and maybe some shots are going to be fired, but I'm going to keep it real. I look at some of the guys and gals that are no longer with our team on the real estate side. I can see we can have access to your production. I know all that we study we're students of the game, so we know who's doing what. The production ain't there no more. We had a quarterly meeting this past weekend where our guys and gals, the market, it's no big secret, the market in real estate has been fucked this year. fucked. Horrible. Worst market in 30 years, they say. 60% of realtors did not renew their real estate license. Over 60% only sold 2 or less houses a year. 2 or less houses a year. Our newest agent is on track to do 10 for the end of the year. Everybody's business, all these agents that we have, everybody's business, including Branden, and our newest agent, she's putting her full year in this year. Everybody's business is up from last year. Go fucking figure. That's with our team. Everybody who's not with our team is not. And it's not the fact that they're incapable, because they would have never been on our team. The fact is that they're not held to the same standard. Same as the gym. We've seen people leave the gym. We've seen people that had a chance to do really well and leave the gym, and
and so you
what's happening?
Mentioned it earlier. It's like, but if you take a look at it, you really step back and take a look. It's like, what is the common denominator?
Yeah.
And you see the same situation, just in a different place.
Yeah.
Some of the names are different. The zip code might be different.
Same shit.
But it's like, yeah.
So, Dustin Poirier said, "Karma ain't a bitch. Karma's staring you right in the mirror."
Yeah.
That was one of the hottest statements and sayings I've ever heard in my life. Karma is not a bitch. Karma is staring you right in the mirror. And, I'm not saying that there's not success in other places, right? What I'm saying is my receipts are there, dog. You've been there through the trenches. You're not biased. I know you. You'll tell a motherfucker when they're fucking up. You'll speak up. My receipts are there. Dude, if you just show up every single day, you don't give up. You're a giver. You're working hard. You do the work. You're guaranteed success. And people say, "Well, hold me accountable." Hold your fucking self accountable. Earn the right to be held accountable. You think just because you come into the gym or you come into the office or you come into this new thing that all of a sudden now I pay my membership fee so I get automatic accountability? No, buddy, you pay your membership for access to the room.
Right.
You pay your membership for access to I'm a part of this business association called Apex.
Don't tell me, show me.
Yeah, I'm a part of this business association called Apex, right? I pay money every month to be a part of this mastermind. We have access to countless courses and tens of thousands of dollars worth of material that we have access. We pay a monthly fee. We go and meet. We do all these things. Well, I've been in there for 4 years, dude, and now I'm just starting to get some traction over there a little bit where people recognize because I've been doing the work every single day and I've been selfless about it. That's our core values there. That's their core values there. You don't just get fucking mentorship because you pay for it. You don't get coaching because you hire a coach. There's a two-way street. Look, I'll coach you. No problem. I'm not going to coach you. I'm at the point in the game for me right now. I'm not going to coach anybody, whether it be on the mats, in the gym, at the office. If you hire me for a coaching, I'm not coaching you unless you're going to get results and do the work. You're not putting my stamp on shit products. I have A+ quality material, whatever you want to call it. I'm not putting that on fucking grade D meat. You know what I mean? This is certified Angus over here. It's dry aged motherfucking Angus beef over here. I'm not putting that on grade D meat that comes out that's got pink slime in it. So if you don't hold your end of the bargain as far as a mentee, as far as a student, as a member, then I'm not gonna
And that's important.
And I don't want your fucking money.
Well, that's what I'm saying, because there's no amount of money that's going to cover bad word of mouth or bad perception because somebody said, I went to this person and they were supposed to, but did you help yourself? What did you do? Yeah. And that's, it's so, the clause is I can coach you, mentor you. But if you're not putting up, then we're done. Yeah. Because it's not worth the time or the money. Figure it out.
Dude.
Call me when you're ready.
And when you're 100% right. And when you get into this conversation about loyalty and you get talking about loyalty, like, dog, I'm loyal to motherfuckers that I went to war with. When I'm loyal to people that I went to war with in these streets. And you don't never hear me talk about that shit. You don't never hear me talk about that old life. Half the shit I don't even process in my memory bank because I don't want to relive that. I'm looking forward, not past. Dog, I've been to war with some of my dudes in these streets, and I ain't talked to them in 6 months, 7 months, a year. And we pick up the phone and we're right back where we were. And I'm not advocating for that life. That's just the environment I was in. But that's the loyalty. That's what taught me how to be and understand what real loyalty is. I've had people that I've made money that've paid off houses, dog. Houses. People that were able to skate through and not they weren't. I forget how big we were. Like I don't, and here's why I forget how big we were, because any entrepreneur, any fucking hustler, any dude that's thinking big, I didn't think we were that big, because I'm looking at the, you know what I mean, the examples I'm trying to find. I'm like, well, we didn't have Bentleys, you know what I mean?
Like,
we didn't have like
the picture just keeps changing.
Dude, yeah, the needle moves, right? Yo, I didn't realize how big we were, and I didn't think about that at the time. And like I've had guys that have made so much money fucking with me in that life, and again, I'm not advocating for that life, that have been able to pay off houses and set themselves up when they got out of that shit for really good future. I didn't have that. I fucked all my shit up. You know what I mean? Like it was coming in and going out just as fast. I had no mentors. We were just the blind leading the blind. I had no coaches. We had no OGs, no old guys that would say, yo, young boy, what are you doing with this shit? Take your money, do this, do that. No. We were just fucking going at it. And my mentality, and I'm not gonna get into it, my mentality was such on a fuck it, I'll pay what I owe type of thing, that I didn't recognize what I really needed to do and how much of a loser mentality was. And I've talked about that before, but at the end of the day, like, bro, when you go to war with people, or when you see people at your lowest, or you lose people in murders, or you come up and you struggle together. One thing that I always remember Jay-Z says is it's cool when you two are getting money together. It's cool when we're both being successful, we're getting money together. But let one of the person get jammed up and not get the money, and the other person grows. Watch that person's moves and watch that person's reaction.
Oh yeah.
And I've had some of those situations here on the business side, on the gym side, where I hold somebody to a certain standard, or people to a certain standard, then all of a sudden they don't believe in my vision anymore. Well, you were believing in my vision this whole time when you were fucking not paying a membership, making money off my people, doing what we doing. We were riding, doing the coaching, we were doing all this stuff. When I poured and dumped countless hours and times in my money and energy in you were all about the vision there. But then when now you're getting held to the same standard as everyone else, or you're getting held to the same standard that you're supposed to, now all of a sudden, oh no, I ain't about that. And poof, disappear. And it happens. I can't tell you countless. This is not just one case. Countless cases of this, dude. Countless cases of that. Countless cases of gym hoppers, and guys go from one gym to the next gym to the next gym to the next gym. I've had guys come to this gym, bash the gym that they're at now, then go right back to that gym.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, bro, like, I'm not in the business for all that.
We see it here a lot, obviously.
Correct.
I mean, not that we see it here a lot. We notice it here more because we're right in it.
Correct.
But
and it's every industry.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. It's like it's everywhere,
Yep.
and you see those people everywhere.
Yeah, it's crazy because the ones that are screaming that loyalty shit, I always look at and raise my eyes, because, like, first of all, I know damn well there's things I've made mistakes and could have done way better and should have done better and handled differently. Absolutely. But it rarely ever do you hear me talk about loyalty, because I'm not begging you for your loyalty. I'm not begging you for your loyalty. I'm not teaching you loyalty. I'm not explaining to you loyalty, and you ain't gonna prove to me that you're loyal in a 5 to 10 year span. 10 year we start talking. 10 year I can start seeing what it is. But for me, nah, dog, I don't give a fuck how well we get along together, how much we click. You got time in to do this. Just as much as I don't expect you to expect me to be blindly loyal and to do the same thing. Like, for me, I'm going to continue to hold myself to the same standard that I expect. And, the end of the day, check my fucking receipts.
And something else I forget exactly what we were talking about yesterday. But it kind of reminded me of this too. Sometimes the people that are getting most out of what you're offering, so whether it's saying or it's an example or something that you're teaching, and they're not always necessarily the closest ones to you, that you might not even consider a friend, or they're an acquaintance, maybe they're a gym member or something like that, somebody casually through somebody, but they're really paying attention.
Yeah.
So
and they're quiet.
It goes back to that thing, is like you never know who's watching, so you should probably assume that everybody is.
100%.
But a lot of times it's not the people that you would expect to get something out of it, and they're not following you blindly. They're really getting something out of what they see you saying and doing. And sometimes that's a nice surprise.
Absolutely. I mean, check my receipts, dude. You know, you can go. People can talk shit about me and say all this and all that, but dude, you know, that's a very, very smidget number of people. I could put them motherfuckers at the same dinner room table. They talk shit about me. I mean, I got a lot of people that run their mouth, but the ones that really truly hate me, I could put them at the same table. You know, my receipts of this, I go anywhere and people know that if I say it's red, it's red. You can go anywhere and know that, you know, Brandon's a good dude. Brandon's got your back. Brandon's going to ride to the end. And I'm in the trenches, and you see it. I'm in the trenches. I'm constantly making so. You know, I don't have to talk that loyalty shit. I don't have to talk all that. It is what it is, man. Well, that'll wrap us up for this episode of Champ Talk. Hey guys, if you got value out of this episode, please like and subscribe our channels. Look to Champ Talk to be released, the video on Facebook, on the Champ Talk Facebook page every Wednesday at 9:30 and you know, at PM. We're also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. So. You know, like, subscribe. If you get value out of this, share it with somebody who would get value out of it. This is how we get recognized. This is how we get, you know, to the top of the search engines. And we want people to be able to have some inspiration or have some things that'll help them change their lives. Guys, I love you. I appreciate y'all. Thank you, Pohanka, for sponsoring the episode. And guys, what are you doing today to become a champion?